Most people believed that this wouldn't happen, that Aftermath was going to be an afterthought. But after seeing the sales this week, you're going to change your mind, and it's coming up next. Sometimes you have to admit to yourself and everyone else in the room that you were wrong. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Before we get started in today's video, just a big shout out and thank you to all the new subscribers who've been joining the channel, hitting that subscribe button, turning their notification bells on, and of course my regular viewers who tune in each and every day to the Moxman. We are less than 4,000. We are 3,925 subscribers away from the 20,000 subscriber party. Can't wait to share it with you guys when we get closer. When we hit 19,000, that's when I'll start sharing the details of the party so everyone can get involved. But let's get on to today's video. And yeah, I'm wrong. This is weird to say. I knew the sales would be kind of surging this week, but this is nothing like I expected from this set. Aftermath has got a lot of bad press for being a micro set that nobody cared about. But the singles market begs to differ. It's like a real surge of a wave because what we saw last week, there was almost no pre-orders, nothing going on. But somewhere during the week, the sales started pouring in. People opened their product, got stuff out onto the marketplace, and the singles went through the roof. Maybe not all the boxes, maybe not the collector boxes, but these individual sales will blow your mind. I think they are some of the highest we've ever had here for a top 10 weekly video of the hottest selling cards in Magic. It changes up all the time, and usually when a new set comes along, it dominates the market and takes over for a little while. This is probably what's going to happen, a little bit of a flash in a pan, big time sales before it fades, out of print, because you got Lord of the Rings coming. And people's minds will move on to the Lord of the Rings in the spoiler season in just a couple of weeks. So a set like this doesn't have a lot of room to move forward because it's so crushed up against Lord of the Rings. But for right now, for this week, when you see these sales, tell me, what are people thinking? Because obviously people on YouTube are saying nothing's going to happen. It's not going to sell. Nobody's going to care. But these single sales definitely tell you another picture, just like I thought they would. Coming in at number 10 this week, it is Markov Baron from March of the Machine Aftermath with 1,420 sales, May 13th to the 19th of 2023. With an average price of 30 cents US, the market price is 21 cents US, a foil is 30 cents US, and it's 21 cent euro to get this card to your house. It's about 50 cents here in Canada. Now, the interesting thing about this card, it has Convoke, which is fine. It's a 2/2. It does have lifelink, but other vampires you control get +1/+1, and this card has Madness. This has a lot of abilities going for it that will make it desirable. But what I found most interesting is the amount of sales. 1,420 sales has been the number 1 card sometimes. This is the number 10, which means the numbers only go up from here. And yes, this took a really long time to count, and I had to call in a few friends to help me out, guys. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the number 9 card, and that is Narset, Enlightened Exile, again, March of the Machines Aftermath with the number 9 position. The average price is $7.97. The market price is $6.52 US. A foil is $7.42. Yes, the prices are too close together. It bothers me. And of course, it's €7.47 to get this card to your house. It's around 12 bucks here in Canada. Now, when we take a close, a really up close look at this card, artwork is amazing, by the way. This is a 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 generic, 3/4. Creatures you control have prowess should not be ignored. Remember, we've seen other prowess cards before, but the idea you can build around this now makes it a little bit more powerful when you start casting a lot of spells. And it says, whenever Narset Enlightened Exile attacks, exile target non-creature, non-land card with mana value less than Narset's power from the graveyard and copy it. You may cast this copy without paying its mana cost. I want you to think about that for a second and all those crazy things that can happen, because apparently a lot of people are thinking about it too, and that's why this card has sold 1,520 copies. That's a lot of dough being bled right into this card. I think this card will fall in price over time. I'm surprised so many people bit the bullet and bought it right away, but time will tell if we're wrong or right. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 8. The Primal Conqueror from March of the Machine is still hanging in there. 1,560 sales. barely getting to the number 8 position with an average price of $7. The market price of $7.97, a foil $10.67 US, €4.28 to get this card to your house. It's about $10 here in Canada. And for today's image, I gave you the flip side, which is of course the Primal Sickness. When this thing flips over, of course, it has Trample, Indestructible, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters, which basically ends the game. It's kind of like a Blightsteel Colossus, but in a not a nice way. Very cool card, guys. And this one continues to have strong sales from March the Machine. Now, number 7 is Danitha, New Benalia's Light. March the Machine Aftermath with an average price of 62 cents. The market price of 44 cents US. A foil is 60 cents US. €1.39 to get this card to your house. It's about $1.50 here in Canada. 1,763 sales. And this is the number 7 card. Remember that, guys. Number 7. Now, let's take a close look at the card. 1 green, 1 white, 1 other. Think of what we've seen from the soldiers. Think about that stuff, guys. This fits perfectly into the soldier stuff we've been seeing lately. Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an aura or equipment spell from your graveyard. And you tell me they're not trying to make a soldier tribal? They gave us King Darius, whatever, and now they got this exact color matching going perfectly with it and to add to equipment. This is going to be some crazy stuff we're going to see, guys. Pay attention to this stuff because it's coming down the pipe, and a lot of players recognize the value of the card at such a cheap price. Amazing card to see at this price point. Amazing. Now we're going to drop down and check out the number 6 card, and it's Soul Ring. Commander, Phyrexia, all will be one. 1,799 sales. That's right, guys. Soul Ring still hangs in there, and this particular copy sold a lot of copies, okay? Soul Ring will never recover back to previous old highs from before it was reprinted. It's been printed so much now, I actually think they shouldn't print it anymore. I think they should give it a bit of a break in the Commander scene. Don't put them into the pre-constructed Commander decks and just see what happens. I'd be very curious as a testing idea to see what would happen if this card just dropped off the map in terms of reprinting and see if the secondary market would start absorbing all those copies. I'd be curious to see. Let's go and check out number 5, and that is the Cosmic Rebirth March of the Machines Aftermath. 1,890 sales. Guys, it's a 25-cent card. The market's 16 cents, the foil's 29 cents, and it's 18-cent euro. This is a 50-cent card here in Canada. Take a closer look. Now, the Cosmic Rebirth, again, 1 green, 1 white. Fits into a lot of the cards we've been seeing lately. But the Rebirth is also an instant. It says, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. If it is mana value 3 or less, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put it onto the battlefield, put it into your hand and you gain 3 life. And it's an instant. So cards like Danitha, I think even King Darius, right? Is he a 3 casting or is he a 4? I'm not looking at it right now, but these are getting pretty close to some crazy little combo cards that will work together very nicely. And of course, that image in the background is amazing. But I look at this card and the connecting possibilities for building Commander, it lends itself to a bit of a, I think they know what they're doing. Let's go ahead and check out number 4 this week. And that is going to be Nissa, Resurgent Animist. Now, a lot of people were discussing this card lately. I had a lot of chatter, a lot of conversations, and remember it was like at like $18, and all of a sudden look at it now, spiked right up, guys. You all know what's going on. We've got an average price of $37 US. The market price of $31.47. A foil is $40 US. It's €13.46 to get this card into your house. Now, when we look at the Animist, right, these depowered planeswalkers, this is a 1 green, 2 generic, 3/3 landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Then if this is a second time this ability has resolved this turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or elemental card. Put that card into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Wow. This has a lot of potential. When you think of elemental decks, elf decks, Commander in general is going to love this card. Okay? And it can be splashed into a whole bunch of crazy combination cards we haven't even thought about right now. So when I look at this card now, I can see why people are jumping on it. I kind of knew it was going to be a good card anyway. Most of us did. But I look at it now and say, look at the pump up in value, and will it hold that value? Seeing how many copies I opened in some of the box opening videos, you'd be surprised. There'll be some of those box opening videos coming up next week, the ones I did for 401. So take a look at them and just see how many copies are actually out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the number 3 card. 1,926 sales. That's just crazy. Number 3 this week, Breach the Multiverse. Hangs on with 2,000 sales. from the 13th to the 19th. March of the Machine. Now, the average price has leveled out since last week. It's now $3.95 US. The market is $3.83 US. The foil is $4.67. It's €1.27 to get this card in your house, and it's around $6 here in Canada. And of course, we looked at the Breach last week. This is a very good card that is going to have a lot of potential for people using black inside their commander decks, and that's what a lot of these cards really seem geared toward, don't they? I have seen it in some of the games I've played on Arena, but I'm telling you, these are cards, and the way Wizards is doing it, they're just breeding cards directly for Commander. And I think they gotta steer a little bit away from that and breathe some new life into the other formats. Interesting though, amazing card. Now number 2 this week, you ready? Number 2 is the Coppercoat Vanguard, 3,606 sales. I can't tell you how long this stuff took to count, guys, but it's crazy. Now we got the market price of 27 cents. The average price is 35 cents. A foil is only 40 cents, and it's 19 euro to get this card in your house. So why are so many copies selling? Yes, it's cheap, but why are they selling? It's a human soldier. Remember, we've talked about soldiers. Each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has ward 1. Whenever it becomes the target, blah, blah, blah. That's ward. But it's a 2/2 for 2. It gives ward to all your stuff. And you can combo this with other soldiers or a human deck or combo decks. Wizards is trying to branch out how people think of some of these because they want you to buy multiple cards for multiple deck construction. You can see it in the way they're designing their cards. It's fascinating to watch this stuff unfold from behind the scenes. And yeah, is it worth getting it for 20 cents? Of course it is. 20 cents? Of course it is. But now you've waited long enough. You're wondering what the number 1 card is. And we're going to show it to you right now. It is Sigarda, Font of Blessing. 4,080 sales. Don't even ask. March of the Machine, Aftermath. Now let's take a closer look because this thing is cheap. It's $1.46 US. The average price is $1.83. A foil is $2.20. €2.53 to get this card into your house. And of course, in Canada, it's about $3. Now, this card, again, green and white. 2 generic. Legendary creature, Angel. Flying. Other permanents you control have hexproof. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast angel spells and human spells from the top of your library. Guys, this card is totally broken. It's amazing. We already kind of knew that. Like we said, we know these cards are awesome, but it's the idea that it's so cheap, and when you compare it against an old school player like me, they used to think Sarah Angel was like the be-all, end-all as a 4/4 with Vigilance for 5, and I see that thing as a 4 casting cost with all those extra static abilities. Whew, blew my mind. But now let's get to the sales factor. Will these sales continue possibly into next week, or are they going to stay static now that everyone's kind of indulged in the product? I'll be very interested to see next week's sales, to see how this all stacks up week over week. We will discuss it. We will be there together to check this out. This was your top 10 selling cards this week. It's a fascinating study to see how players are still buying the cards while other players are saying they're not going to touch it. This shows you there's a real difference in what people say versus what people do. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. Thanks for allowing me to entertain you here on the channel. And of course, don't forget, tomorrow we have the Hot 10, the top 10 selling cards of the week, reserve list edition. Looking forward to seeing you all there. Slam some comments down. Let me know what you think. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons who support this daily content each and every day. Without these patrons being here, content like this is not made possible. So to the patrons out there, thanks again for being a supporter of the Moxman. Welcome back to the end. As an afterthought, just picture this. Picture the 1993 version of Moxman, young snot-nosed kid playing Magic. Benalish hero, I'm amazed. Mesa Pegasus with a holy armor and a holy strength. That thing was a 2/5 beast. And then you see a card like that Sigarda, and you go, what? That's not possible! The evolution of the game, when you look over the decades, will blow your mind. When you look at how some of the cards would stack up. Right? Now, of course, not versus Power 9 stuff. I get that. If we took a Power 9 deck of 60 cards, of any 60 cards from Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, 4 Horsemen, and we face up against anything today that could be built with any set after that, I'm sure those old cards would hold up better. But that's because they would have game-ending combinations on turn 1. But I guess modern decks could do that too, right? Either way, I think the old deck would win. But just when you compare those cards, it blew my mind. Anyway, thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for hanging out on the channel. I got some coffee, and yeah, I gotta get this party started. Oh, the live stream. If you're watching the live stream on Sunday, it will be at my other property because it's a long weekend here in Canada. It's Victoria Day long weekend. So I'll bring some stuff up. We'll have a good time. Looking forward to seeing you guys 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have an awesome one, guys.